Welcome to Ecom Cowboy. This is D2C's daily show where we believe ads are not bad, ignorance is expensive, and the American dream is alive and well on the internet today. It is Friday. Happy Friday, March 27th, 2026. We're brought to you by Incense, Seguno, Postscript, and AMP, and we have a jam-packed show for you today. Meta's brain encoder, okay, their AI model of your brain has been released. They call it the Tribe V2. It is the trimodal brain encoder. It knows exactly how your brain is going to respond on the millions of data points of reels that have been fed through that thing. We are going to dive into it. And what does it mean for the future of advertising on the internet? Very important to know. Secondly, Pop Mart. Pop Mart's looking up and it's down. The creator of the Labubu. Of course, they had a historic year last year, but turns out they do sell other things like home appliances. Who knew? And the stock market doesn't like that. And we're going to have Anthony Gustin, founder of Lineage, on the show today to talk about his real food bar. He's also one of the founders of Equip Foods and many other things. The guy invests everywhere and in everything. He's one of the biggest voices author that is transforming Western culture in terms of health today. We'll also be joined by Ritwik Pavan, Chief Business Officer of Fragile, creator at Hardware Nation, and one of the original members of D2C Supper Club back in the day. I am joined by a special guest today, the one and only Cody Wittick. Cody, get in here. Get inside this show. Cody Wittick.
Here to serve.
Wow. Boy, it is good to see your face, sir.
It's about time that you actually represent the Ecom Cowboy with the cowboy hat.
Yeah, I started rocking it. I did it for Mitab Bogle because he said you got to rock the hat. And I did it, and then I just kept it because I was like, it's kind of a vibe, and I like it. I mean, I like wearing, you're not supposed to wear a cowboy hat inside. I mean, that's kind of a rule, but I just decided to go ahead and break the rules for the sake of the internet. You feel okay about that?
Yeah, McAfee broke the rules with the tank top. So
yeah,
and
exactly.
You're not there yet. Your bod is not there yet to do tank
I'm getting close though. I'm getting close though.
Yeah.
I am I'm down 25, 30 pounds now, brother. And I'm nearly back at the same weight that I got married at 14 years ago. Huh?
Let's go, baby. Congrats.
Yeah. Big
now
you're like, you.
You're like your own logo. It's kind of like Jerry West was the logo of the NBA, and now you're
exactly.
You're the logo.
And maybe once I become commissioner of e-commerce with whatever presidential administration is in power at that time, maybe we'll go ahead and debut that as the official logo of Ecom D2C, etc. We have what is often described as one of the most exciting segments of the week here, Cody, that you are joining us on. And it is the one and only, Jack, I'm going to play it, the one and only Hot Jobs, baby. Caliente, baby. And I have to say, the list this week, some of these jobs you cannot find on the internet, okay? Or it would be hard to find if you did. Our first comes to us from MeUndies. MeUndies, a lot of these located in California. I don't know why. I know that you'll probably be targeting a lot of these companies to work with kinship instead of hiring whoever they want to hire, which I think is a smart move for you.
That's right. That's right.
MeUndies, VP of Growth and Retention Marketing. Growth and Retention Marketing. Want to highlight that here. And a few details here. Hybrid, 3 times per week, Los Angeles area, beloved area of yours that you no longer live in, Cody. 190 to 220, okay, is what they're looking at. Want 10 years of experience. Let me give you some of the deets on this. We're looking for a consumer-obsessed VP of Growth and Retention Marketing to lead all performance marketing across the full funnel for MeUndies. In this role, you'll be responsible for creating our channel expansion optimization strategy, deploying budget, customer member acquisition goals, refining our attribution modeling, and expanding the LTV of our current customers, members. You'll inherit and continue to build a team that executes across email, paid social, display, direct mail, podcast, affiliate, and paid influencer. and make performance marketing better. What are your thoughts on this one, Cody? You like this one? I mean, somebody's going to get a great op here, I think.
I think it's a great op for sure. I'm a little surprised at the pay.
Colin brings this up again and again. I knew that you would say this. I knew what you say. I think I'm used to like living in Texas, but I guess that doesn't quite does that quite not cut it for SoCal?
Also, I wasn't even thinking about the role or the location specifically. I'm just thinking about the role. It's like growth and retention, both sides.
It's
and
a lot.
10 years of experience.
Yeah, it
sounds pretty light, but
it's light. It's light for that much responsibility, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Great brand, though. Great brand.
Great brand. Serve men and women. I've got their, featured panda male undies here. I have seen this come up again and again, and Colin will remark this. Yeah, it's just not enough for that area. But I don't know. Maybe double household. Maybe they get the right candidate. They'll have to up it a little bit. I'm not sure. You think so? You got to pay. You got to pay for the talent you want. Is that fair?
Amen.
Amen. Well, let's look at our next one here. This comes to us via Mizzen in Maine, Dallas, Texas. Baby, it's my hometown. Okay, CRM manager. Mizzen in Maine is seeking a data-driven CRM manager to define our retention strategy and evolve our program into a merchandise-aligned, customer-centric engine. In this pivotal role, you will establish a long-term testing roadmap while managing and mentoring a marketing associate to ensure flawless daily campaign execution. You will leverage advanced RFM segmentation, deep analytical insights to optimize the full customer journey, yada, yada, yada. On site in Dallas, 3 to 5 years experience, no salary data here, but strategy and hands-on. I love their clothes. The only problem is I don't have any of them in my closet. And I think that especially if somebody's Texas located or willing to relocate, I think this would be a great brand to have on your resume as far as moving forward in your career. Is that fair?
Look, the old founder, we actually had him on our podcast. He lives in Dallas.
You had Webb Smith on your podcast?
No.
I want Webb to come. I think Webb was involved with Mizzen in Maine. He was either a co-founder or early on, et cetera. Do you think so, or am I getting that wrong?
I don't know. You're bringing up a controversial person right now.
Is that a controversial person?
I don't know what the comments are looking like, but let's move on.
I'm lacking context, obviously. But anyway, Mizzen in Maine. Okay, CRM manager. Somebody's going to get a great opportunity. Make a friend, find a way in. Next, Senior Director of Digital Experience at Marine Layer. I thought Marine Layer was East Coast. Marine Layer is not. They are West Coast as well. Marine Layer is looking for a Senior Director of Digital Experience, head of e-commerce, to champion and evolutionize our digital flagship as a core growth engine for the business. Role carries full accountability for digital rev, conversion, customer experience, performance across marinelayer.com. You will build and execute a multi-year roadmap that drives measurable growth by elevating user experience through brand storytelling. Interesting. They got the storytelling on this side. They got the performance on that side. You'll partner closely with creative merchandising and marketing, hybrid, Tuesday through Thursday in San Francisco. Again, I think you're going to question this one. Okay.
Yeah.
180 to 220 with 15 plus years experience. Your thoughts?
I mean, you stole my thunder, sir.
Sorry.
San Fran? I don't know. I mean,
might need a few more Ks to afford a dwelling there in San Fran.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also just thinking about comps for growth strategists of what we just hired for, and it's like add another 10 years of experience what we're looking for, and basically the same job. That's not even really factoring in inflation. Doesn't really make sense. But maybe on the 220, but the 180 bottom is a little sus.
I think what I'm hearing is that everybody needs to go work for Cody at Kinship. Is what I'm hearing. I think that's what I'm hearing.
I guess I'm just surprised because obviously I don't look at these jobs a lot. So, but it seems like Colin's surprised too.
Yeah, so I would say there are 3 like plateaus that that are very common. You'll see a lot of roles at 100 or just under. And then there's a lot of roles that will not break 150. 150 is kind of like the magic number that I see consistently. People really don't want to break that. And then there is like the 200-ish role for something like this. And then every now and again, there'll be like a rare bird that a blue moon will show up that will be above that. But this is what I've been seeing pretty consistently. Now, I don't know what these, what they end up getting hired for, how long the job is open, et cetera. And there's arguments to be made for like, well, that cost you more money. You should have just paid more up front if to get the person you want. But it's pretty common now. And some minds might say, with AI and international talent, maybe you just don't go for this person at all. I don't know if that's a factor in the marketplace right now, but I do see these kind of ranges pretty consistently.
But when you're talking about like the MeUndies, for example, when you have that much responsibility, they're eliminating a lot of roles through AI to have a one more senior person.
Yeah,
it's true. Person sitting on top. So
yeah, it's true. For this next two roles, we got a combo burrito here. And somebody needs to take a look at this. This is Ilya Beauty, Director of Global Advertising and Performance Marketing, or I've also seen it just called Director Paid. Okay. I kind of like Director Paid just because it's a little simpler, but big fancy title here. Director Global Advertising. You're going to be shocked. You'll be shocked on the pay here too. Ilya is seeking a highly strategic, data-driven director of paid to lead and scale our customer acquisition and performance marketing efforts across digital and retail channels. This role will take full ownership of our multi-channel full funnel paid media strategy, including D2C, retail marketing, emerging platforms, TikTok, YouTube, international markets, and affiliate partnerships. Wow. You will own a large-scale budget management and campaign execution, partnering with cross-functional teams to ensure performance marketing aligns with brand, business, and revenue goals. This is a leadership position with a seat at the table for setting strategic direction and driving innovation at scale. Hybrid. I'm not sure the exact location here, but it is hybrid. Top end, 160, looking for 8+ years experience, Cody. Your thoughts?
I think it's another good brand. Beauty is a great industry to be in my opinion. And it seems like the next one is related. So she's going to have, or she or he will have this person have a team under them.
She or he may be bringing somebody with them, because our next role is paid media associate at Ilya. And obviously we'll be serving and helping said director, looking for 1 to 3 years experience, hybrid. And I don't think that pay is accurate on that one. I can't even read what that says right now, but I think it's probably just a teleprompter. It's a copy from the other one. But there could be a young, hungry, bright person. I guess not too young, need at least 8 years experience, but of sorts with them. On the visit, on the trek to Ilya, and grow things up and to the right. I think this is interesting because it's the combo burrito. I would want to bring somebody with me, have somebody in my pocket that I would go to the brand with. You?
Two-person show, Batman and Robin. Hire us both.
Exactly. Batman and Robin. And
you and Colin.
No. I've got too many stories to cover right here at this desk, brother. Yes. I just cannot leave. I'm tied. Plus, I have admitted several times I don't really know how to sell to women. A lot of women in my life, but I've yet to crack the code on that. Hey, maybe I just need a breakout opportunity to sell lipstick and many other things. Not to say that's all Ilya does, or even if they do.
But your daughters are selling you on lipstick for yourself, though.
They're selling me. I'll tell you what, they know how to sell daddy. They do. They do. My wife knows how to sell me too, but I haven't exactly cracked the code on the other way around yet. Just entice with treats, ice cream. Let's go get ice cream. Let's watch we read the Chronicles of Narnia. Let's watch the Chronicles of Narnia. Super exciting, things like that. I can do that, but I'm not sure how to get the dollars out of the wallet as of yet. But we shall see. Make a friend, find a way in. Interesting job market out there, but there are still D2C brands who are hiring humans, even in the midst of the AI uproar. Make a friend, connect, second, third level on LinkedIn, talk to your second cousin, and get in there. Before we move to our, what I would say, breakout story of the day, the current thing, as one might appropriate it, let's talk about incense. Ladies and gentlemen, don't we all want actual humans in our ads? Yeah, we do. We do. We want good ads. We do. But let's be honest, getting the right creators, manually negotiating usage rights, etc., it is a headache. Very disjointed process. That's why Incense exists. Okay. This is the all-in-one UGC and influencer marketing platform that actually makes creative scalable, all-in-one platform, vetted creator marketplace, not just you finding them, but them applying to you. Automated influencer outreach, built-in campaign management, content delivered in as little as 14 days. So much better than just finding a random TikTok and hoping it takes off and changes your business materially forever. This is about building real relationships with real humans. Just released the UGC Playbook 2.0. Go to that link you see scrolling by right now. We just had CEO Daniil on the show talking about why Andromeda is good. It's here to stay. Accept it, and what modular UGC and the playbook looks like in 2026 to make creative scalable and go up and to the right forever and ever. Many thanks for Incense being part of the show. Next, a brain model. Did you like that? I think you liked. Did you like that ad read? Is that what you were? Yeah, you liked that. You liked that. Okay, I did too. I did too. Meta has released a brain model. They know how all of our brains work now. Okay, this is called Meta's Tribe V2, which stands for the tribal brain. No. Trimodal brain encoder. Trimodal brain encoder. And the Tribe V2, this announcement from AI at Meta came to us yesterday. Today, we're announcing Tribe V2, Trimodal Brain Encoder, a foundation model trained to predict how the human brain responds to almost any sight or sound. Building on our Algonauts 2025 award-winning architecture, Tribe V2 draws on 500 plus hours of MRI recordings from 700 plus people to create a new digital twin of neural activity and enable zero-shot predictions for new subjects, languages, and tasks. What does that mean? It means that based on all of their reels, yeah, go ahead and play that for us, Jack. Based on all of their reels, they know what lights up your brain, where, what you like, what you don't, sound, movement, et cetera, et cetera. And I think this is like an incredible layer to know, number one, on what is perhaps the most groundbreaking piece of software that was ever created, enabling all of us to sell our many wares and widgets upon the interwebs as we please. But also, I think it's pretty incredible to know that Meta knows exactly what's going to work, when and where and why. And I want to harness this in some way and learn of myself so that I can make ads that work forever and go up and to the right. You have anything? I mean, what do you think of this? This is incredible to me.
Yeah, it feels like that everybody's the thing underneath the water of understanding the algorithm, understanding all
Yeah.
the thousands of microsignals that goes into the machine learning system. They're
Yeah.
bringing a little bit of this to life, so it's very exciting. I mean, they've always known what works. There's always we only see the tip of the iceberg. So
Exactly.
right.
I think this is what's nice is that kind of open kimono a little bit, just a little bit here.
Mhm.
And we're seeing like what's actually inside the cupboard and what does the algo mean? Okay, the algo means that we've mapped your brain and we know what makes it tingle, baby. And so we're rewarding this and that, and we know who it's going to work with, etc. This next tweet came to us from Alan at Bitforth, who was an engineer at Meta. I think this is very insightful. We should read this. I was an engineer at Meta, and I always followed FAIR from the inside. Don't know what that means. What they just published is the version they're allowed to publish. Interesting. But with that, it's more than enough to tell you exactly what's going on. Tribe V2 predicts vertex by vertex across the cerebral cortex which areas any video activates. No scanners, no humans. You upload the content, and you get the neural map. Emotional activation, suppression, critical reasoning, prefrontal modulation before a single user watches the video. That's what I want. I want to do this, okay? I want to know if the content I'm uploading is going to work. Now, consider Meta's position. It has years of Reels data on what content holds attention, generates anger, provokes sharing. They know empirically what works. Tribe V2 gives them the casual mechanism of why it works at the cortical tissue level that turns historical correlation into predictive capability over new content. Internally, there are tools called gatekeepers and quick promotions that serve to inject content into the feeds of arbitrary populations at scale. Brain response simulator plus empirical knowledge of effective content, selective distribution machinery. The pipeline is complete. And then there's Teal, investor and personal friend of Zuck, founder of Palantir, whose business is population analysis at scale for governments and intelligence. It's not far-fetched to observe that incentives converge for platforms built by the same people. The CC by NC license says that Meta retains commercial rights to the most accurate brain response predictor ever built. And remember, this is what they decided to make public. I think this is an interesting point. I think it's probably true. We're getting just a little bit of the tip of the iceberg, a little more. But there's got to be so much underneath this. And if there's the ability to upload my thing that I am going to evaluate, I mean, they are open sourcing some of this at least. If there's the ability for me to upload it, evaluate, tell me how this either makes the brain tingle or not, I want that. Want to harness it for good purposes, of course. But I find this compelling and groundbreaking. It's incredible.
I think the con of it, though, is like it's almost like the AI redundancy of how many tools are you using that basically do 20% a little bit more. Like, does it slow you down actually ultimately? Because if I have 15 assets, now I got to analyze all of them. How quickly does it do it? There's definitely questions I would have.
Maybe we can just Claude code it, baby. Just hook up.
Right. Well, I'm sure people are already doing what they're creative, right? But so does that keep you from launching it and testing it against the cost cap?
Maybe. Testing it against the cost cap. Yeah. It says access the code, read the paper. I'm looking at the website right now. Explore the demo, read the paper, access the code. And yeah, there's your GitHub. I'm looking at the GitHub right now. So I would be interested to explore this. I'd be very interested to explore this. That's a good point that you make. Maybe it slows you down in the end. Lastly, Kobe Essie letter. This comes to us from Kobe Essie letter. Says Meta stock falls over 7%. This is in context. After a landmark court case, we covered this yesterday, ruled that the company failed to adequately warn or protect young users. The stock has erased $100 billion in market cap today. There's actually multiple court cases. So in California, I believe there was a youngster who got awarded $3 million. There are 1,600 cases behind her. There was a massive adjudication in New Mexico, something like $300 million that was leveraged against Meta. And now Meta's kind of taken this on the teeth. And what's underneath this is the big tobacco kind of principle that, hey, you are producing stuff that you know is addictive and harmful. Infinite feeds, beauty filters that make young people feel bad about themselves, etc. And how far do they take this upward? You know, I would say it was surprising to me for there to be any kind of loss with this, just because, you know, Meta's so huge, big social so huge. I don't know what happens in 3, 5, 10 years. Is there eventually some kind of big tobacco settlement arrangement with this kind of principle in place? But I would say they definitely know how your brain works and can tingle that thing as they will. So I'm not that down on them here. Down 7%. I mean, I think things are going to continue to go up and to the right over the next few years at least, unless there's some unforeseen thing in the future where they get handcuffed like big tobacco has been. What do you think, Cody?
I don't think so. I think they're too tied in. I would buy some Meta stock today.
Buy some Meta stock. They are tied in, right? I mean, they give massive amounts of money to whoever is in office, and so.
Oh yeah.
I think it's pretty safe.
Too close.
I think it's pretty safe, but I guess big tobacco does too. But anyway, very interesting. Next, Pop Mart. Have you heard of Pop Mart, Cody?
No.
Okay, Pop Mart is the makers of the Labubu. You've heard of the Labubu?
No.
No, stop it. You don't know what the Labubu is?
No.
Oh, Cody, brother.
I'm about to have a second kid. I just moved across the country. I just bought a house. There's lots going on in my life. Thanks for
So
asking.
you're not that keyed in then on
No.
what women are buying and attaching to their purses. Okay. Well, let me just tell you, the Labubu is this like fancy little toy, basically, that blew up on the internet. Look it up. Just look it up while I'm describing what happens here. Okay. Summary: Pop Mart has absolutely crushed basically just on the Labubu and all of their soft toys. Okay. Pop Mart reported H1 2025 operating profit of $6 billion. Okay. Up 5x over the year. I'm probably quoting that $6 billion in another currency on revenue that grew 204%. Plush product revenue surged 1,276%. Okay, the brand runs 59 million members who account for 91% of all sales. Okay, with a 51% repeat purchase rate. Okay, so this is their members are locked in and driving all of their revenue, and they're at least going to buy twice. Okay, and this is like, it's a toy company, but at the same time, it's kind of like a subscription model in disguise. This is like it's like Beanie Babies of yore. You remember Beanie Babies? Yeah, this is like the new Beanie Baby, except it's Labubu, and you
I
attach
looked it up. I've never even seen these things.
Okay. They are wildly popular everywhere. They have crushed. Okay.
Yeah.
And on the backside of this, though, on the backside of these incredible yearly reports, we have stock. Stock is going down. Okay, this comes to us from CN Wire. Pop Mart drops 15% in afternoon trading as non-Labubu IP sales miss expectations. I'll be honest, I didn't even know that they sold anything other than Labubus. And come to find out, additionally, not only do they sell other things, but they're launching home appliances next month. Launching home appliances next month. Who knew? Who knew? Pop Mart COO said at the 2025 earnings call that that company's home appliance products will officially debut next month. In addition, Pop Mart's dessert business, following its rollout at Pop Mart Park, the Thailand
Is this why the stock is down?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it must be. I don't know why they don't just abandon everything else and just make more Labubu. I mean, it seems like Labubu is the
all the marketing, all the royalties, all the different Star Wars and Disney, and I'm sure they got a lot of that. But
and make them all Labubu form. I mean, just make Darth Vader Labubu version, which I'm sure that they have done in some way. This to me, there's obviously something that I'm missing here. I guess Pop Mart sold other things. I think they should cut everything and go all in on plush toys. I mean,
I was not expecting that announcement. Home appliances.
Sometimes you got to cut your losses. And,
I mean, it makes sense. Like, it kind of was reminding me of like the Simple Moderns or the Corkscrolls of the world, where you don't have LTV, but they do have LTV, and it becomes like a style thing.
Yep, so, exactly.
And so you need to expand into different categories to expand revenue. Clearly, that's not their issue.
I mean, I'm looking at the Pop Mart website right now, and literally the whole thing is plush toys. The entire website. I mean, I'm looking at the Twinkle Twinkle.
That's what I was saying. I didn't see any ovens.
I didn't see any ovens. I didn't see any coffee makers. I didn't see any refrigerators.
Oh my God.
I think my advice, if they want to hire me to consult, I am available only after 2 p.m. CST weekdays. Okay. But if they do want to hire me to consult, I'm going to say cut the home appliances and let's go more Labubu. Let's go with what works and let's do more Labubu. It's time to double down. Okay. You got plenty of members. They all want more Labubu. Give the people what they want. Is that fair advice?
Or they want, based on post-purchase surveys, they want a refrigerator and that looks like a Labubu. And I think that's okay.
Maybe that's what they're trying to make.
And maybe they're swimming in all that cash that they're just kind of like, I like appliances, and I want
let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice on some frozen yogurt makers. You can put on top of that counter there. I don't know. My advice: more Labubu. Before we move on to our next stories, let's talk about Seguno, ladies and gentlemen. Seguno is the only marketing suite that lives entirely inside of Shopify. What does that mean? That means your emails, your pop-ups, your banners, your reviews, all of it is already there where you work and play every day. And why is that important? It's important because it means you don't have to trust in some duct tape together data synced integration that you hope is actually moving your segmentations, your results, etc., back and forth. Your Shopify data is your email data. Okay. This is why they won the 2024 Shopify Build App of the Year. Yes, they did. Okay. One-click automations, actual humans that can help you. Seguno was built for lean teams with big aspirations. If you don't have a full-time email marketer on your staff, your team right now, Seguno was built for you. They have just released their advanced Shopify segmentation playbook. Check it out scrolling by here below, seguno.com/advanced-shopify-segmentation-playbook. Go get that thing, talk with them. They'll give you a free trial. And if you tell them Colin and I or Cody and I sent you, they'll extend that free trial to 30 days. Many thanks for Seguno being part of the show. Now, big controversy on the timeline yesterday that is continuing to play out now this morning as we speak, Cody. Reindustrialized sweater is actually made overseas. This specific tweet, this sweater has gone viral, okay? And the reason it has gone viral, it's actually made by a fashion company, an apparel company. It's called the Reindustrialized Sweater. It's 100% cotton. To look good while you're working to reindustrialize America. Skill Issue apparently is a luxury brand for tech bros. And the only thing is, though, is that, let's go back one, Jack. The only thing is that this sweater is not made in America, okay? It's made in Croatia or somewhere else, and it costs $350. Okay, so the internet has run wild with, you're selling us a $300 sweater, and then the reasons they get into is why wasn't it made in America? It's a reindustrialized America sweater. The reasons they get into in the comments is like, well, it's just too hard. You know, it's like we tried, can't do it. Can't make a sweater in America. Too bad. And we got to charge 300 plus because it's a really good sweater. And, you know, we would love to make it in America, not possible. Now that has been ratioed many times. And KJP, next tweet here, Jack, KJP from New England, he showed off his sweater and he said proudly made in New England right here, 100% cotton. And I don't think that this one ended up being $300. Here's my question to you. They have absolutely gone viral. I wonder if this was purposeful. I wonder if it was purposeful because it's an obvious thing. Hey, you're pushing this to the tech world. You got people that follow you that know you as reindustrialized. Was this purposeful just to get in the zeitgeist a little bit, get talked about, even though it's like bad PR? Maybe there's no such thing as bad PR. Your thoughts?
I don't know. I never question someone's motivation anymore these days. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was your take, is what people are doing.
You wouldn't be surprised if it's my take?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if that hat you're wearing is not made in Texas.
This hat, I think, is no. Well, I can't say actually. A lot of there's a lot of cowboy stuff that's made in Mexico. It is.
I mean, they have it across their website. It's like made in USA.
Well, I mean, for KJP for sure. KJP is just under $200. Made in America. Very proud. I don't know about Stetson, but Skill Issue, it's very clear they made it overseas, and they didn't have a very good excuse why it was made here. I want Made in America to work so badly. I want it to work so badly. And I'm so for this. I was telling Colin yesterday, my family roots run deep. My great granddad laid the foundation for the concrete at the paper mill in Lufkin, Texas, and then he worked there all his life. Is where all the jobs in Lufkin came from. My granddad did the same. Worked his whole life at the paper mill. My uncle, my dad would have, but he broke his wrist and couldn't work there. And then the paper mill shut down, and all the jobs left. So I want reindustrialized America to work so bad. I don't know that there's the purchase behavior to follow it right now. A lot of people want it and they cheer for it, but at the end of the day, they don't pony up the bucks for it. Do you have any thoughts on this? I want this to happen so bad, but I don't know that the consumer behavior is there to follow it just yet.
Definitely not. I mean, it seems like the administration was trying, but then when we have all this money going out of the country still, just because the pockets are still so deep, not to get political, but it's tough. It's tough
It's tough.
when you got the political climate that way it is, and military industrial complex and all that stuff. So it's definitely hard.
Well, there are a few operators that give me hope, specifically Kaya Rhodes out of Atlanta, Georgia. What she's doing with Anatar is incredible. I don't know if Jeff Bezos is going to bring all of the bots as he's investing in manufacturing, et cetera, and make it work financially. But I am for the movement and I want it to happen. And we have got a very steeped knower of ball who is coming into the show right now. Especially, I mean, you want to talk about like influencers of what is happening in the West, creators of the zeitgeist, not just riding the wave, but creating the wave. I am talking about the one and only, but before we get there, we do got to talk about postscript. You know what? We'll save it. We'll save it. I'm talking about the one and only. No, let's go back, Jack. I'm talking about the one and only Dr. Anthony Gustin, founder of Lineage. Anthony, get in here. We need you inside the show, sir.
What's up, guys? Am I in? Am I on? Is this it?
You're in. You're on, brother. We're glad to have you, man.
Let's go.
Anthony, I have never met you. This is our first time to talk, but I have known of you, especially as of late, from my good friends over at Heart and Soil. They introduced me to Lineage.
That guys.
Man, I started eating the beef jerky. And now, brother, you've got this bar out there that, I mean, is burning up, completely sold out. Can't get it if you want it. Man, before we get into all that, man, I'd love it if you just back up and just give us a little mini origin story on how you got to where you are. Author, voice, I mean, investor, founder with Perfect Keto, Equipped Foods, Lineage, etc. Brother, how did you get here?
Well, I was very fat and sick growing up. So that's my superhero story. And then just wanted to help and figure out why are people so sick and then help them get healthier. The only way I knew how to do that when I was younger was be a clinician. So got my doctorate chiropractic, master's in sports rehab, worked with a lot of high-end athletes and started doing some functional medicine work, and then got into running e-com brands as a mistake, just trying to make real food products for them because they were taking a bunch of trash. And so that's the genesis of Equip. And then Perfect Keto shortly after that was launched because I was working with the ketogenic diet. This is like 2016, 17. It's still sort of like early fringe, but a lot of metabolic promises. So launched that, and that just absolutely took off like a rocket ship. So, around that time is when I sold my clinics and went all in the e-com space. And yeah, it was not an intentional pivot, but that's kind of how things worked. And then after I sold Perfect Keto, I bought a farm, started doing some regenerative agriculture, which then combined my skills with e-commerce, sort of background in health and nutrition. Paul and I were friends. My co-founder, Paul Saladino, who's the target of most of the bar hate, and also co-founder of Heart and Soil. And then the farming stuff, and just wanted to combine all of that. And Paul and I had actually talked about doing a brand before Heart and Soil, before he even had a social media. He was, we were talking about this idea. And so, I mean, it was like, I don't know, maybe 5 years, 6 years after, but yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time.
I mean, Anthony, you weren't in Austin when you were doing your chiropractic work, were you?
No, I was in San Francisco. And then
I wish you'd been here.
Yeah.
I wish you'd been here. You would have probably been working with the University of Texas football team, which is where I was at the time. We had many chiropractors coming through there. And anyway, sidebar. Tell us more about this bar, Anthony. I don't get the hate. There was a lot of controversy on the timeline, though. And you sold out. I mean, it's real food, all of the things. And obviously people love it because it's gone. But where's the hate coming from?
I think anything at this point that Paul says or does is going to receive 50% of the internet hating him. So I think that's just a reality you have to get used to, which is totally fine. I mean, if you look at just the people who are vocal on social media are very different than the people who are actually getting helped by his information and the products that we make. Fair. And I mean, that just goes to if you go with him in public, it's sort of overwhelming because so many, every 10 feet in most major American cities, somebody will walk up to him and say, oh my God, what you've talked about has changed my life.
Wow.
And then yet you get people on the internet who, because he said plastic is bad and because our wrappers, but by the way, there's no other way to wrap a fucking bar besides in plastic.
How do you
We'll say,
wrap it without
look
it?
at this shill. He's been setting this up for years to try to make all this money on selling protein bars. It's just people, I think, are upset generally because he's good looking, he's a medical doctor, he's articulate, he's successful, he has successful brands, he's living life on his own terms. I think a lot of people are just, anybody who's feels good about their own life doesn't seem to hate him and understands like you update things as you go along, you try to do the best you can, and that's what he's done. And again, I've known him and been friends with him before he started any of this stuff, and he's only increased in integrity and authenticity and being true to himself and growing since before that time to now. But yeah, if you have a big microphone, people are going to inevitably hate you to some degree. So I think that's where the most, like, if you actually look at the bar relative to the space, I don't know how or why you would critique it really in any metric.
Of course. Yeah, totally.
And we say, eat real food. Like, this is not something we say, like, don't eat real food and eat this. We also have other things. We have, like you mentioned before, the meat snacks, which is like as close to you eating real protein as possible. And people still were asking, like, hey, can we get a bar in this format? Because this is what people, for better or worse, want.
I see.
So we wanted to make a product that was good to our standards that we wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And people obviously resonate with it. I mean, we thought we had 4+ weeks of inventory in stock until in 2.5 days, which is a great problem to have. But
great problem to have.
Apparently people like it.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, Cody.
Well, I was just going to say I'm a Saladino follower, so I knew some of the pushback would just be because he's claimed for so long the block of cheese is the best protein bar as possible.
And he still would and still does, and that's totally fine.
Sure.
And like on all the comments, we were like, yeah, eat that. That's great. But that's what people were asking us for this thing. And this is generally like, I mean, talking about the difference between like a Quip and Lineage, and like there's sometimes you just launch a brand and people hook onto it, but then you kind of got to follow what people are asking for and innovate within that, and not just try to shove things down their throat because you think it's good or best. Like, I wish we would just be fully a meat brand, and we can talk about why that is. Like, I want to restore the ecosystem and work with regenerative farmers as much as humanly possible. And to do that within meat is like the most effective way to do that. But we launched these products and people kept asking still for this bar and the protein powder and other things like that. And we're giving it to them. And I'm proud of people enjoying those products. But at the same time, if people ask us for stuff and we just say, no, I'm not going to do that for you. Like, I don't understand that. And why as a bad thing if people ask for the product to make it.
Well, tell us more about your desire to do more inside of the meat industry and what that could mean for American farmers and for our health here, this side of the world. I mean, I feel like the real food, eat real food, the flipping of the food pyramid. There's so much happening right now that is a result of everything you guys have been doing for years up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think my ethos and how I view the world when I talk about my Genesis story, like why are people so sick and how do you help them? I think that the fundamental thing that my podcast I haven't done much with lately, but it's called Natural State. And I think the natural state of any organism is health and flourishing and thriving. And when you change the natural environment, so if I look outside and I see like a bird or a squirrel in nature, it's not coughing or fat or sick or any of these things. It doesn't think about what it eats. When you manipulate the natural environment, you then break down the organism and the organism suffers. And in nutrition, obviously eating real food is better than not eating real food. Like, I don't even understand how this is a point that is arguable on the internet. And people go with capital S science and try to prove with RCTs that eating things like seed oils in this industrial slop and all this bullshit is good for humans. We've never had one food that we've made throughout all of human history in our industrial food system that we've introduced that has been good for us over a long period of time. We've eventually found out, like I haven't found one. If somebody has an example, please let me know. I'm happy to update my priors and then have people hate me because I changed my mind. But overall, we have to understand, like, okay, at the end of the day, we need real food. It's like the most important thing to survive. We need food, shelter, safety, clothing, some basic things. And how we are producing food currently, first of all, is devoid of nutrients and full of toxic chemicals because of our industrial global economy. And then two is frankly just unsustainable. Like, if we keep making food the way we're making it, we will not be able to make food anymore. There's a lot of good
Wow.
books on this regarding the pillaging of our soil and destroying the soil quality. And the best way to regenerate the soil and to make more food over time is to use ruminant animals on landscapes. This sort of fixes everything, restores soil microbiology, restores water cycle, restores diversity of other species, etc. And so in my mind, okay, the thing that I think society and civilization most needs is the ability to eat food on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
And healthy food. And so what are the problems in that? And most of them, you look at regenerative farmers, they're selling cuts by the steak, by the roast, by the whatever. Whereas if you're a big rancher, you can sell into a commodity system and get a hanging weight per carcass.
Yeah.
Regenerative ranchers don't have that luxury. They have to sell everything to consumers. They can sell steaks and ground, no problem, but they can't sell the hides. They can't sell the tallow. They can't sell the organs, the trim, the roast, all these other things. So we're buying all these inputs from farmers, selling them to consumers, so consumers can get the highest quality nutrient dense products that we test and verify to make sure there's no weird stuff in it. And then the farmers can increase their throughput and raise more cattle and make more money. So like this is sort of like the whole why we have tallow, collagen, the air dried steak, the sticks, and like that's, I would prefer just to have those products, but again, people have asked us for these other things, and so we've made them. Again, with the same ethos of like, how do we support the best suppliers doing the best work, as well as testing and verifying that they're clean, and that I trust them. And you know, I said a kid 6 months ago, like I want him to be able to know that there's not weird microplastics and glyphosate and mycotoxins and all this trash in there. So we test every lot of every single product for 400 plus different contaminants. And sometimes when we work with good suppliers, we find the stuff in there because they're doing a great job, but their neighbor's spraying all the shit on their property, and they get this drift on there. And so you just don't know what you're getting at any point.
I mean, tell me, I think that is very compelling. And I think on the backside of this, making the products that your customers are asking for makes all the sense in the world. But it sounds like to actually make those things with real food, to make the bar with real food, etc. It sounds like it's not a easy manufacturing feat. I mean, it might be easier just to roll out, you know, the typical protein bar that's made every which way, etc. Is that the case? Is it a challenge to make it the correct way?
Yeah, the issue is that bars need to be bound together, and when you're using real food ingredients, often the oil, especially with the fat, if you're using things something like tallow, will separate out. It'll be very oily. And so what most brands that even have a clean label will do is they'll add in chicory root fiber, inulin, allulose, tapioca fiber syrups, which they're not like inherently toxic for people, but I found that a lot of people can have negative reactions to their gut microbiome. In small doses, there's like research that shows that they can be beneficial, but in the doses needed required to put together a bar and hold the bar in that manner, I think there just can be bombs, especially for people who are looking for real food are trying to fix their health in some way. And so when they're adding in these other ingredients, it doesn't mix well. And so, yeah, I mean, the Equip and Lineage teams have worked together, and the bar is slightly different, which we can get into. But we've worked for, probably in combination for like 3 years.
Wow.
Try to figure like what is the right proportion of like mix this at this stage with this thing, because and like heat it to a certain temperature, and like we didn't want to denature the raw honey, so we had to keep it below the threshold where raw honey gets the enzymes degraded, and like it's a very complex problem. Wow. And we have tested it in accelerated sort of like heat, pressure, time tested. So like we know that it holds together well over time, doesn't get hard as a rock, doesn't separate with oil. And I think I don't know of any other brands currently that are doing it that way with any of those fiber syrups. And I'm sure there will be soon. Hopefully, like we, raise the bar and make sure that other people are doing this. Like, I don't care if there's other competitors, what we're doing. I don't know of any that exist besides the Equip bar, like basically sister companies that are doing things without any of these weird additional preservatives, binders, whatever.
So you're telling me all those haters on Twitter didn't have that context?
yeah, all those haters.
So weird.
But the rapper, sir.
The rapper.
They want us to pack. They're pissed that the bar is $4 a bar, but they want us to package each bar individually in glass. apparently.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Pay up.
Pay up for that glass. Well, I mean, this kind of challenge manufacturing wise and the years that you put in to develop it. I mean, it seems much different than just roasting coffee. It seems much different than just making a hat, making a t-shirt. And talk to me about, you do have the two bars. You got the Equip bar, you got the Lineage bar. You know, the differences there. Were you afraid that they would cannibalize each other? And then also, I really want to talk about differences with David, just because it's relevant, not to throw them under the bus in any way, but just because that was a big part of the conversation when Lineage came out with the bar, was that people were talking about EPGs and things like that. I'd love to get more context on that.
Yeah, I'm like endlessly fascinated with brand loyalty and how different brands can target different consumers. We've done an overlap recently, a test between the Equip customers and the Lineage customers.
Yeah.
And there's like a 3% overlap.
Seriously.
And like
That's
we have
it.
pretty much the same exact messaging of like, real food is good, eat real food. These are, products that you should add on, but you should prioritize real food. It's like very similar messaging. I mean, Equip, like we're all in on beef protein as an ingredient. And I think like we're the number one brand in that space. And I think that they're sort of like how vital proteins really improve the purview of collagen and grass-fed collagen. Like we're doing the same thing with grass-fed beef protein. And so that being said, like we have that, and then we're doing that in bar format and then a powder format. And like, that's 90+% of our sales. And otherwise, like a little bit broader, like we have like bovine ingredients, so colostrum and collagen in organs, and that's it now. Whereas Lineage, like I said, like the focus on the specific rancher and fixing those problems in the supply chain are way more interesting to me with that business particularly. And then even like we chose Whey for the bars because there's opportunity for us to build a supply chain, like the first regenerative supply chain using A2 cattle, which doesn't actually matter in Whey because those proteins are filtered out. But we're going to do a product soon with milk protein concentrate, which has those proteins in it. And so A2 regenerative supply chain in like dairy proteins just doesn't exist right now. And so again, like thinking through, can we support these farmers and ranchers that we want to support, and then also getting a better product and consumers, like that's interesting to me. So that's why we went to that direction with the Lineage bar.
I see. It's so fascinating too, that even though you get the same messaging, different branding, different angles, et cetera, you've got almost no overlap in terms of, that is crazy to me.
And even though Paul is both co-founder of Heart and Soil and Lineage, the overlap there is also very small, like way less than you expect. Which I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
it is fascinating. It's all operating in the same world, the same corner of the internet, and very little
which is encouraging to me because it just means more people than I thought. It's not like a very narrow person that is interested in these ideas.
Yeah,
it's the mom who makes her kids smoothies who is like sort of curious about these things, and then it's like the hardcore carnivore animal-based guy, and then it's the regenerative agriculture advocate. Like they're way less the same exact person, and I think that's a good thing because there's way more different mentality of people who are supporting these ideas. So I think that like it means it's less of a fad and more of like a long-term trend that I would bet on.
What keeps coming up to me as you talk more and more is that you've got this kind of underlying ideology, movement, purpose, mission, and then it gets to play out so compellingly in all these different brands that are reaching different people. And I have tasted that when I talk with the guys at Heart and Soil. I mean, they are bought in. It's not just like the people buying; it's the people working there, and that I would say in a positive sense, it's almost cultish positively in the sense that there is a strong ideology with a mission to benefit the world. And that kind of buy-in actually reaches different people through those different brands. It's so compelling to me.
Well, I don't mean to get too esoteric about philosophy of the world and how it works right now, but I think that we're sort of in a breakdown of meaning and purpose and principles. And we've like diverted in the West away from virtues and principles and religion. Yeah. And I think people are really seeking brands and influencers, if you call it that, people who actually care about what they're talking about, who have values and have principles. Like any way people can get that currently, I think they're looking for it. Like Paul and I try to live that. We don't agree on everything, but I think that at the core level, there's a lot of stuff that we agree upon, and that's where, you know, we can resonate with people and hopefully be valuable to other people and sort of be examples of having integrity, especially in a space like this, where it's very easy to not. I think people can sense that, whether overt or sort of like a subconscious thing. I think it's very important. And like, I don't really care about anyone who, like, if you are just true to yourself and what you believe and then act upon that, I think that it's much easier to have success than the other direction. I think people are really craving that right now.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. If you would, Anthony, not to throw anybody under the bus, but just contrast what's happening over with David. I mean, it seems like they definitely want people to be healthy, but going about it a very different way in terms of, you know, ingredients, etc. How is that relevant or not with what you guys are doing with Lineage? What are EPGs? I didn't even know before this whole conversation came up.
I find it to be a hard leap to assume that the intention is not to make money or have success, and the intention is to make people healthier. Given the pivot from the previous product that the founder of David had, which was like a real food protein bar, the first of its kind, really, to this, which just seems to me, and I could be completely wrong, I haven't talked to him about this, but a complete ultra processed, like ultra reductive, the only thing that matters is protein per calorie, which is like a made up marketing gimmick that like really doesn't have any bearing in nutritional science.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some science again that could point to that. Like, you can use science to show anything in nutrition.
Right.
And that's why you need to have underlying foundational thought around what is food and what is not food, what is natural for a human to consume over the course of the last 200,000+ years versus just the last, you know, in this case with the EPG, which is a processed seed oil that is intentionally not digestible. And they just got a huge flack about this and a class action lawsuit because when you put the fat into a bomb calorimeter and burn it off, it has certain calories. They're saying like, no, it doesn't apply because it actually doesn't digest in the gut, which is shown with research. They show like up to 50% of people have oily evacuation with eating this ingredient, EPG, because it doesn't digest. So then your body wants to get rid of it. Like, to me, there's like a disconnect. Like, if you want to be healthy, why is that something you would eat? I cannot understand it. And maybe I'm just like so down my own biased rabbit hole. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
Well, I appreciate
I cannot make sense of that being a health food, personally.
Yeah.
If they want to sell their cod, great. I'm full support of that. But when you have a label on a food in a package that said like, here's our binding system. When I talked about people who are just using like the clean bars, would just use like a tapioca or a chicory, like they have like 7 different things in there to bind the bar. Like, just use one. Just use one. You don't need 7 different things to bind the bar together. Same thing with the flavor system and like, I don't think real food has systems that you need to have. They're just ingredients that you could recognize, that you could maybe acquire outside if you would want to. So if people are feeling good and it fits certain things and it tastes good to them, great. I'm all in support. And if they're making good changes because of it, I just can't get there cognitively. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, I appreciate your perspective on that. Because you're so involved here, I mean, investing, movement wise, speaking, creating products, etc. What do you think's coming as far as, you know, health in Western society, the flipping of the food pyramid, eat real food? You know, are we going to find a way to save our soil? You know, what products are coming forth? Where do you see opportunity? What do you think comes next?
I wish it were more in the actual sustainability of our food production and regenerative agriculture. They'll have a theory that most people they operate based upon immediate incentives. So when people, it's like so far to them to think about not being able to have food to eat versus like the way something tastes or how they feel or things that are in it are more motivating factors. But I think there's one thing that is not going to go away that's going to only increase in scope and scale over the next decade plus, which is purity and testing and third-party verification of there's this contaminant we've tested for to make sure, again, whether it's pesticides, herbicides, microplastics, mycotoxins, the whole gamut of things. Once you get the information, like a nutrition facts panel, and you say, okay, here's the protein and fat and carbs and calories that are in my product. Once you get that, if you were to get a product and look at that, you'd find it to be very odd to not have that. And the same thing is going to happen with transparency around purity of products. As we poison our ecosystem even more, it's going to become more of a problem. And the brands who do that and sort of push forward, like Light Labs is leading in as far as like the actual testing. And so that way you can send things in as a brand very easy, get back information around, do I have weird things in my product? Where can I find it in my supply chain? And then how do we get it out of the supply chain? And then once consumers get that information, I think it's like very hard for them to go back.
I see.
So that's my bet.
Well, I think it's a good bet. I mean, the American consumer is definitely becoming more informed, and hopefully we're trending in the right direction. Obesity down, eating real food, and all of the things to come. Anthony, man, we appreciate you joining the show, and we're going to be looking forward to eating more lineage and equip and things to come. And we look forward to having you back, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Wow, boy, there's a lot there. I think what is probably most compelling to me when I talk to Anthony, when I talk with Dean, CEO over at Heart and Soil, or when you watch Paul Saladino's videos, is that they have conviction behind what they're saying. They have conviction, and they have a thought and a worldview about how health is supposed to work. And you heard Anthony getting into it, for 200,000 years, humans have been eating this way, et cetera, et cetera. That kind of mission undergirding what they are selling on the internet, I think, as he described, as society is looking more and more for meaning, it's compelling. It's compelling. And no wonder their brands continue to grow and go up into the right, and their customers ask them for products in the catalog that they weren't even planning on making. I find that to be very interesting. And if one can tie, if one can tie a product or create a product as a part of a much larger mission in the world that people can join into, they create a story that people can participate in and become a part of that story. Rather than just telling your story, tell their story that they can become a part of, then business is bound to work well. As we move forward, and before we touch our next few stories, let's talk about Postscript. Ladies and gentlemen, focus is an amazing thing, is it not? It is. When you focus solely and obsess over one thing, you see outsized results. And that's what happens with Postscript and SMS marketing. I know your current solution probably does 6 or 7 things all together, and it's convenient for it to all work together in that way. But when people make the switch, they see a plus 22% increase in SMS revenue on average. And I saw a whole lot more than that. We went from making very little money to being a top 1% account on the entire platform simply because we did what they said. And I'll tell you this right now, you should go to the Conversational Report, direct-to-consumer.co/the Conversational Report, because they have identified the giant opportunity there is when people actually text you back after you send campaigns and they ask questions and you don't respond, or you send them an auto reply, hey, email us at this and this .a, whatever. Their AI shopper is tuned in and designed to make you money right there in that moment. Go to Postscript. Many thanks for them being part of the show. Now, as we move forward here, I'd like to talk about our friend Brandon Kuiper. He sent out this tweet and he needs help. Ladies and gentlemen, I have known Brandon since his time at Zox, I believe it was. Zox, is that what it was called? I believe that was his company before. Now he's running Hey Ozzy, which is a natural GLP-1 drink. that sounds pretty incredible. It sounds pretty compelling. There's probably a lot of people that want that one. But Brandon has written in, and he says this in his tweet, which is an unfortunate side of what we experience often in e-commerce. Fell victim to the meta ban wave last week. Lost my appeal and my account, which I've had since 2008. It's gone forever. Over 30 million spent since 2012. Done roundtables with Nicola, well, I'm not going to pronounce that. Given talks at AdRep training, featured in meta case studies, interviewed on several client panels, and still I can't get a single human to review my account. I bring that up because what I have found oftentimes is that you actually need a human inside of Facebook and Meta that can go to bat for you and help connect you. I think, and I don't doubt that Brandon has those, but if anyone knows how his account can be recovered, it should be done. Make a connection, DM him, find a way to get him in, because this is something that we can't let lie fallow and just accept this reality. You want to keep those ad accounts and keep them going up into the right. OG of D2C. I mean, he's been doing it since 2008. Longtime successful founder. Brandon, we hope the best for you, my friend. And we're going to see if we can find some help for you, make a connection there or two. Now, we have someone coming into the show right now who is, I would say, one of the original members of the D2C Supper Club way back when. He is at least two-time founder, especially in the hardware space. He's a two-time founder. He's now chief business officer at Fragile, and he's also a creator. Okay. He is a creator at Hardware Nation. I'm talking about the one and only Ritwik Pavan. Get in here, Ritwik. Get in here, brother.
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Brother, it's good to see you, man. Look at that lighting. I don't know where you are right now, but it is great lighting on you, bro. I mean, this is fantastic.
Got like a daylight in this room. It's actually really cool.
Wow, look at that. Whoa, man. Yeah, bro, you're flexing on us. You're flexing on us right now, and I'm here for it, brother.
I like the hat. Good.
You know, I got it. People ask for the cowboy hat. I got to put it on.
It looks great. I just got back from Austin. I miss it already.
Oh man, well, we wish you were still here, and I wish you were going to be attending the future Supper Club coming up. But man,
I will in the future.
It has been so long since we've talked. Last time when we talked, you were at Crava Modular ADUs. Man, just give our audience background on what you've been doing since you left Austin, where you are now, and what's going on. I've been so fascinated to follow all of your content at Hardware Nation, etc. Just give us background on where you are and what you're doing now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's been, it feels like ages ago with Crava and Vade. As you know, been in the hardware space for a while as a founder. I think like just starting off with Vade very quickly in 2017, 2018, we were one of the original companies, I think, outside of Flock Safety that decided, hey, let's go build a venture-backed business that sells to government. And see how it goes. And so we had built wireless cameras, went up on street poles, used computer vision to collect real-time curb data.
It's wild.
It was crazy, and it was awesome. And since then, today, fast forward, you're seeing so many defense tech, so many gov tech companies. So
totally.
It's really cool to see. I think we were a little ahead of our time back then.
You're early, bro. You were early, man.
And then with Crava, it was focused on the end goal being solving housing, a big housing crisis, as we all know. And we wanted to start with baby steps. We've thought that the easiest kind of initial step would be by building like a backyard ADU space where we could build a system, a modular system where it was pre-wired electricals, essentially a Lego-like system for backyard spaces. Yeah. And in most zip codes, most states, anything under 400 square feet, you don't need a permit for, and especially 200 square feet. So start off with that, and then the goal was to eventually build larger spaces. We did not raise venture money for this one, fortunately.
Wow.
And the biggest challenge that we saw was, supply chain, being able to finance these units up front, because oftentimes as a homeowner, you're not going to pay upfront for this thing and then expect to get delivered. And so ran into our fair share of challenges through it. Ended up exiting to a larger global modular manufacturing company.
Awesome,
and lots of learnings. I mean, it was very nostalgic when I stopped by the American House
Yeah, yeah, I saw you there.
Company that
Exactly.
and they were, I mean, I've followed Yimby Land and Will for a long time, and Riley, and those guys are just crushing it. And what is it? The American Housing Corporation. Now I got to get the name right.
It's a great name. It's a great name. It's a great name.
It's like, you know, getting everybody together in one of the most important problems, but seeing the way that they have approached it, I do think that they have thought through a lot of these things, even in our conversations. And so super excited to see what they are, you know, where they go with this. And in terms of what I'm doing now, as you've been seeing, I've been building this community called Hardware Nation. And it's really, what sparked it was when I moved to San Francisco, got the little San Francisco hoodie.
There we go, baby.
And, what sparked it was I came here with basically no friends. I mean, I grew up in North Carolina, moved a little bit west to Austin, and then moved even further to San Francisco. So, you know, had a lot of mutual connections and whatnot, but no real friends here. And I said, all right, like, you know, which community am I really interested in? And it's always been hardware. And so I started off by just inviting 4 or 5 friends to a dinner, and then you know, he told another 5 friends, and then it just kept growing. And now every quarter I put together a dinner where we bring, you know, the coolest hardware founders. So that's what I'm doing along Hardware Nation. And then I'm the chief business officer at Fragile. I can't talk too much about it. We're a stealth Series B.
All right.
We work with category leading hardware brands, so still in hardware, not building it. But yeah, that's what I can share.
That's incredible, man. Well, I, you know, when I was seeing some of the dinners that you were putting together, man, and the interviews that you've done, et cetera, man, it's so compelling. The content is great, number one. And I totally agree with the premise. That's why we started the separate club. I mean, you know, a lot of times, especially founders, operators, largely doing their business on the internet or isolated, et cetera. It's a lonely way to live. So
it really is. And I would argue that hardware is probably the most lonely. I mean, having been in it and then talking to founders, it's just like, there's all these problems that, you know, in software, you just never see. Supply chain and, you know, making sure that the SKUs are available, then performance marketing and financing. And it's like, it's crazy because whether you're a Series A hardware company or an IPO, you're still talking about the same problems. I met with a founder that's wild. You know, yesterday, and he's like, you know, this whole memory RAM issue, he's like, he expects a lot of companies to shut down over it, which sucks, but it's, you know, there's all sorts of issues that are constantly coming up. I mean, we had tariffs last year, right? So it's just unexpected things happening all the time. So my goal is to get everybody together in the same room and say, hey, look, it's not as lonely as you think it is.
And that is that's an interesting point you make. I mean, just about the RAM situation. I mean, the entire companies could shut down because of that. You know, this is I'm because I'm so kind of marketing oriented and performance marketing, et cetera. That's the kind of world that I live in, and so I don't think about raw materials and products and parts that are necessary for the company to exist. I mean, this is a great point. Navigating those problems is difficult.
And you know, you're absolutely right. And I think it's, you know, the most insane thing that I've heard is that he told me that they have non-cancelable purchase orders where they don't even have a guarantee on units being delivered. They have to commit in advance. They don't know what the price is of this memory, but they have to commit to a purchase order with the amount of quantity. They don't have a guarantee on the quantity. I mean, it's insane, right? It's
wow.
Like, in what world have you ever heard that happening, right? And so obviously these companies in South Korea and wherever else that are building this memory are definitely taking advantage of the situation as well. But, you know, supply and demand.
Supply and demand. My goodness. Well, man, I think one of your kind of most compelling theses that I have heard, and you tell me if this is right or not, if I got this right or wrong, but I've heard you say something like the most important companies of the next decade will move atoms, not bits, and that AI is what is going to help make all of that happen. And I find this, I want you to talk about it because I find this to be incredibly, probably encouraging for founders in the D2C world who are, you know, making products, selling widgets and shipping them wherever they get ordered. But it's also, it contradicts where we've seen most of success over the past, call it 10, 20 years in terms of software. It's software, everything is software. And so
Yep.
I'd love to get your perspective on that because you're so hardwired into this community.
Yeah, I mean, I've held this opinion about Adam's not just bits for almost a decade now. And, I think AI only has accelerated that because, today's day and age, of course, like with Claude and a Perplexity computer and all these AI tools that people are messing with, I mean, you're already seeing the rate at which people can build their own apps customizable to them. It's like people are doing this over a weekend now. And so just imagine, what we get to by the end of this year. And so when you consider that problem effectively being solved, I mean, obviously we've got, it's not fully fleshed out, but it's going to be made possible relatively soon. I think the most important problems that people should be solving are more focused on atoms. I mean, and I also think that it's just building better customer experiences, because before you used to have a robot vacuum, for example, like a iRobot that would just go around, hit corners, random corners, and then clean it up. And then now you've got Matic, which is obviously one of my favorite hardware companies that I always talk about. Have no investment in them. No, just to be clear. I wish I did. But you've got it kind of being like a Tesla car for your house. And then most recently, I met this company called Andromeda. Grace is the founder, so shout out to her. And they're building these robot companions to help with the loneliness epidemic, where people in senior living areas, it like can speak 90 languages, it can entertain them, it can dance with them, feels like a human. And this is something they've never really got to experience at the cadence in which they can now. And so when you think about all of these important problems, loneliness or housing even, right? And are able to now accelerate that with bits being just a lot easier, like the software component just being a lot easier. I do think that over the next decade, this is going to be the most important thing. I think we're going to be seeing investors. We already see investors getting behind it, but I do think hardware and robotics is going to be the place to be.
I find that so interesting. And, of course, in the context of loneliness and it being such a rife problem in our current world. I mean, that's why the Surgeon General released his big report in 2023 about, it being about equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, if for your health, if one is lonely over a long period of time. And so it's a very interesting thing to think about there being a robotic companion. And I think I saw this company that you're referencing here.
Yeah, I actually had them at my happy hour last week. And so people loved it. I mean, people were like, eyes lit up when they saw it. It's got like one modular arm where it can blow bubbles out of it. It's like, I mean, the kid in you just gets excited when you see that, and I think that's just one part of it. I mean, obviously you can't just solve all this with robots. I mean, I think you're doing important work with like Supper Club, and I remember coming to your dinner, and it's like getting people together is very important. And I think like, especially in today's day and age when it is becoming easier to build software, why not go challenge yourself and try to, get involved in the hardware world. So I think that a lot of people are doing this. And so it's not, it's not happening. I think there's a natural movement and shift going towards hardware and robotics.
Well, man, I think when you launched Hardware Nation, I think the tweet that you put out like went off like a rocket. I mean, it was like 160,000 views or 600 replies or something like this. I mean, it seems to be that like there is an outcry in the hardware world for people doing hard things. Like, yes, we need to be together. I want to know what's going on, and can we help each other to move things forward in this, important facet of society and business? I mean, can you explain why that happened? I mean, that is most newsletters don't go that way, I'll say.
I think it did well, mainly because behind the scenes, I had been spending a lot of time with hardware founders. And to me, this outcry was evident even before I put a tweet out or even before I kind of decided to go about Hardware Nation. And the reason I started Hardware Nation was because of the outcry from founders. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't just go share online and say, hey, we're having this problem with, our manufacturers. And if we can't figure it out, we have 3 months of runway and we die. Right. Like, you hear famously like Elon talk about all of the problems with SpaceX and Tesla and how, it's crazy to think that these companies might not exist today if like one other thing went wrong. Right. And so after hearing directly from founders and pretty much spending all of my time with them, that led me to start Hardware Nation and, bring them more exposure, do the videos that you're talking about. I've been trying to get into short form. I share weekly posts with exciting hardware. But my goal is just to bring more visibility to founders and the incredible products they're building.
I love it, man. I love it. Tell me when you see, and I know you see so many products every week. You talk to so many founders, man. What are 2 to 3 trends or products? Just what's top of mind for you that you see coming or you think is going to be, groundbreaking? You see huge opportunity in. I know for me, because I've got a number of children. I've got 4 blessed little children running around. I'm fascinated about how AI is involved in kids products like the Dex camera that was featured in the newsletter.
You got to get the Dex camera. That's awesome.
I mean, it looks so interesting, and helping kids learn how to speak and what it is, and then there was a toy that won a CES award this year. It's like a screenless toy. You can throw it up against the wall, and it teaches your kid how to speak, and I find this to be particularly fascinating. But for you, and what do you see coming? What are you excited about? What's around the next corner?
Yeah, I mean, I really see a spectrum, right? So there's a lot of the fun products, which oftentimes people enjoy, and the family products. You've got like Dex, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a camera for kids where you hold it up against, anything, a chair, and it takes a photo of it, and you can have a language set up to make it easier for your kids to learn new languages. If you want your kids to learn Chinese or Spanish or Hindi, whatever language, they are able to learn it easier, but also has this little display where it uses AI generated images. So you take a photo of a flower and it generates this nice cartoon photo of a flower and so they found this niche, right? Where it's like, I think it's perfect. And then you've got companies like Board, which is like the gaming, they built these games.
Oh, yes.
And it was on my holiday guide for last year. And then, I think these games I think the value and the experience increases tremendously with the help of AI. And then on a more serious note, like outside of the kids and the toys and, sticker box where you ask it to print something and then it prints a sticker of it and it can generate in real time, all of those products are amazing. I love them. I do think that there's this natural trend in, what we've all been seeing towards robotics. And I think that, I am interested in both specialized robotics as well as the humanoid robotics. I think that the humanoid robots are a lot further than what we get marketed today. I think that it's still, at least when I think about getting one myself, I mean, I pre-ordered the 1X and I'm excited about it, but I would be super impressed if they got, I would be super impressed if they deliver in time, and I'm rooting for them. I hope they do. But I do think it's going to be a while generally before we see these humanoid robots being useful at home, because every home is different. Every family is different. I mean, these are, as much as you can make them look friendly, these aren't the safest machinery to be around. I mean, they're machines and they're heavy. And so while I'm very excited about humanoids and I would love for a humanoid one day to be doing, my laundry and doing everything else, I am equally as excited about the specialized robotics side, where in warehouses and companies, and there's these real use cases. When I was in Shenzhen, you're already seeing these robots running around, going up and down floors and dropping off.
Really?
They have an equivalent to the Uber Eats. I'm forgetting what it's called, but like you've got, where you order food and this robot comes up, it can go up the elevator, drop it off, come back down. Similarly with cleaning, it can clean the entire hotel, like floors and everything else. It's all like this already exists. And so now when you imagine that at a higher level, where you've got like autonomous forklifts being built, you've got, robots that are able to carry boxes and place them where they need to go. So I'm especially excited about robotics in this next decade.
And that makes a lot of sense when you describe it that way. Why, there may be more use cases or more excitement around kind of specialist robotics that have certain functions that can operate and are in other places on the earth right now, versus just the humanoid that everybody expects and gets excited about. That's very
humanoid is
interesting.
great marketing. I think it's great marketing, and I think obviously I'm very bullish on Optimus and some of these other companies that are getting built. I have no doubt that Elon and these other incredible entrepreneurs are going to make it work. I just think that it's a little further out than people expect, and I think that it's going to be a while before they get useful at the point in which these videos you're seeing where it's doing all of these things, it's marketing videos. They're obviously like very carefully curated and teleopt and all that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, as you have and talked with founders, met with companies, you're visiting and telling their stories and such. And what are like the commonalities that you see when, there's a lot of hype around something that's happening? There's a category, a company, everybody's excited about, but then it stalls, and inevitably, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Are there any like common pitfalls or similarities that you see across the board as those things happen that might be relevant for founders and operators listening?
I'm just hoping that I don't get off of hearing on Twitter and then see another AI wearable or, I think that, there are some really cool health tracking ones, so I'll give it that. But the AI wearable space, every week we were, even
There's
now,
a new thing every week.
Launch. And I think we have not truly found what is going to be the best form factor. I'm of the opinion that I do think it's going to be glasses. I think that it might.
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if it's going to be Meta glasses, if it's going to be another glasses brand. Obviously, each company and a company like Meta, for example, has their fair share of explaining when it comes to privacy and everything else, right? When you're talking about glasses as the form factor and it's got cameras and it's got your messages and calls and everything. That I think it's very hard to beat that. And one of the best reasons is like, even if you have your Meta Ray-Bans glasses, which I have, it's like you're at a concert, everyone's like has their phones out and, it used to be like live in the moment, put your phones away. And now like you can kind of do that while having your glasses there. Even it's almost this like subtle addition where you need navigation, takes you there. Anyways, to answer your question, I think that, when I talk to founders, I always say like the Twitter launch is great, but that is like the smallest part of it, because the launch is mainly to launch most likely gets you inbound from investors where, they all kind of are on Twitter. However, I have seen the numbers. I have seen multiple launches. I've helped out with them, thousands of retweets, and you will be surprised to hear that maybe they get a few hundred orders. And so it does not do well today with conversion. Obviously, X is trying to improve their ads and all of that kind of stuff. But today, the truth is it's still on Meta, TikTok, working through creators. And so if you're building a consumer hardware product specifically, you need to build it out in a way that you're not just expecting this one launch that goes viral and you've talked to your friends and you've told them to retweet and all that stuff. That is like your end all be all, because the truth is that is just getting started. That is a starting point in which people know maybe who you are and maybe liked your video. But to convert them, to ask somebody to spend even $200, $300 on a product, it's not easy. Forget like
not
the
easy
products, right? And so, and this. And so, I always tell them to have a proper campaign set up where, they've measured and tried out a bunch of different mini ad campaigns and need to create that process rather than investing all of their resources into like an X launch.
Yeah, that's where the long haul of business really begins, is after the product is available. It's like
you can't be having the 2020. Only a few people like Elon can have the Roadster waiting so long, and people will still get it, right? Like most people, especially if they don't know you, are not going to wait even 6 months on their product, right? Like this is not Kickstarter. We need to have it in a few weeks max.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. We appreciate you making the time and getting back on here, Ritwik. I'm blown away from where all you've gone since we last talked. And before you go, tell us though, man, where to find you, where to follow you, Hardware Nation. What should we do? All of the things so that we can stay plugged into what you're building over there.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It's great to see you, and look forward to hopefully seeing each other in person again soon. You can find me at, at RITWIKPAVAN, my first and last name, on X, on Instagram. It's just at ritwik.mov, like the movie file. And I talk about, short form there. You can follow Hardware Nation at HW Nation. So Hardware Nation, or go to hardwarenation.com hardwarenation.co.
That YouTube, the YouTube is goated, bro. I
The
love
YouTube is
those
goated.
videos.
I like the YouTube a lot. I like the videos on YouTube. They're probably my favorite. I will say everyone's always like, when is the next one coming out? It's coming very soon. Maybe I can drop it on your podcast. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, do that,
So,
bro.
so we are. So I am flying to London end of
Wow.
April to do a Hardware Nation episode with Carl, the CEO of Nothing. So if you know Nothing, which is the Nothing from the previous founder of OnePlus, we are going to be doing a Hardware Nation episode on them. We've got a bunch of other ones lined up. The production obviously takes a crew, so takes some time to get those videos out. But feel free to follow along and on any of the socials.
We're going to be following. You come back on here and drop that thing, man. We'll do a world premiere. We did a world premiere last week. Did a world premiere last week. With
I will reach out to you in that case, and I will share it.
All right, man. We look forward to it.
Ritwik,
Thank you, brother. Great to see
Thank
you,
you
man.
for having me on.
All right. Wow. You know, it's so crazy. You just never know. You meet people and where they're going and what they're doing. And Ritwik, when I first met him, he had an incredibly fascinating business, trying to solve the housing problem that companies are still trying to solve today. And the American Housing Corporation, I hope I'm saying that right. The business right here in Austin, I really feel is like his successor in a large way. And now, man, all he's doing with Hardware Nation, on screen content, bringing hardware founders together, so compelling. Many thanks for him coming on the show. A few more stories before we get out of here and find our way into the weekend. But before we do, why don't we talk about AMP? Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know how your business is doing, if you can't answer that question in a half a sentence or so, how is your CAC, your LTV? Are you progressing toward forecast or not? If you can't answer those questions concisely, I don't know if you know how your business is doing. That's why we love AMP, and we love them being part of the show. Their favorite tool of mine, Lifetimely, allows you and your entire team to know all of those core metrics across what data sets at any time and every time in one visually pleasing place and space, not having your data scattered across Google Sheets and Excel sheets everywhere. And what I will say is you get Lifetime, you get all their other tools for free, all designed to put profit back in your pocket. What they are developing with their AI is fascinating. It is designed to prompt you, my friend. Not just you prompt it, but it prompt you. This product, this offer, this cohort. Let's try this. Let's test this. Let's do that. Go to useamp.com. Get on that platform. Test drive it today. Put profit back in your pocket. Scale with confidence in 2026. Don't you want that? Yeah, you do. Useamp.com. Many thanks for them being part of the show. Now, just a few more stories before we get out of here. Direct-to-consumer sunlight is now available. Yes, that is the case. There is actual direct-to-consumer sunlight. Play this video for us, Jack. And you don't have to play the sound, but just play this for us. I find this fascinating. Okay. No longer is there a need for you to bring your generator or some lights should you be hosting a bonfire or an outdoor gathering of some sort in the evening or at nighttime. You can just order up some reflected sunlight from satellites directly to you wherever you are. And you're seeing it happen on the screen right now. They are literally reorganizing satellites to reflect sunlight to your place in space. I find this to be fascinating. Who knew there needed to be D2C sunlight in the world? Apparently now it's available. This tweet comes to us from Shiri_SHH. I really don't know what company this is. But I find it fascinating. And you know what? Hey, it's possible because of technology. And follow up on this tweet and get yourself some sunlight should you need it. I mean, hard to add anything on top of that. It is truly incredible. And in addition to that, Breeze, our good friend Nick Shackelford over at Breeze in his other many ventures as well. They are now available in Target. Congrats to them. Sick. Very nice. These guys continue to take over the whole world. And it seems like every place that I go now, I find them there. And I don't know what kind of evaluation they have, but I think it's pretty large. It's pretty large, and maybe they'll be available nationwide in Target. I don't know, but it does say find us at Target, so I would assume it's everywhere in Target. Good on them. And you know what? Personalization is hard. Even Klaviyo itself messes up personalization every now and again. This comes to us from Max Sturdivant, who he is coming at Maxwell Copy. He is coming to Commerce Roundtable. He will be there, and we should have him on the show. We're going to be doing super lives at Commerce Roundtable, live streaming from the conference itself, and we're going to have anyone and everyone on that baby who is gathered there. We'll have Max on the show then. This is a tweet, a screenshot from Klaviyo, and it says, given your goals around bracket, specific business goal based on account, bracket, I see strong opportunity for K-Service to accelerate results. Would you be open to a quick call, et cetera, et cetera? Personalization's hard. Don't be too hard on your email managers, your copywriters, et cetera. Sometimes internet is hard. It is. And if it were easy, you know what? Like our good friend TJ Bongiorno likes to say, if it were easy, we'd all be millionaires by now, billionaires perhaps. He released quite a poignant tweet the other day. He said, oh, you've been in ecom for 10 years? Then why aren't you rich already, boo-boo? Which I thought was very funny and a good point that he made there. And lastly, entirely interesting tool release here from Every and OpenClaw. They are now selling mini Macs, Mac minis. I know maybe you didn't get yours. I did not get mine, but they now have a new tool called the Plus One. It is a hosted OpenClaw that lives in your Slack. It is already connected to everything in the Every ecosystem, and it's got all the tools that you want. Skills pre-downloaded, etc. I think if I were going to get on OpenClaw, this is the kind of tool that I would need. But custom skills and workflows, content digest, daily brief, animate with remotion, front end, etc., etc. I think this is really smart. I don't know how well this goes. They do have a wait list right now. I added myself to the wait list. I did. But I think this is a step. It's a step toward making increasingly non-technical people a little bit more technical and, get them access to all the capabilities available on OpenClaw today. Well, many thanks to Cody Wittick, special guest host today, for joining the show. Many thanks to founder of Lineage, Dr. Anthony. Boy, it was awesome to talk to him. He had some compelling things to say about the status of health and why real food is the future and their mission. Anthony Gustin, an incredible guest. And then Ritwik Pavan of Hardware Nation for coming on here and talking to us about what he sees happening in that space, working with founders, manufacturing, et cetera, and trends to come. And many thanks to Incense, Seguno, Postscript, and Amp for making this show possible. We miss Colin. He shall come again on Monday. We're going to be releasing a lot of footage from this week's shows out over the weekend, get you some weekend watches, and why don't you touch some grass? Yeah, get away from the computer for a little while. And have a good weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Many more guests coming next week. Thanks for joining us.